Hello and welcome back to the Eclectic Pop-cast. My name is Britt, and if you've been online, right after you hear about Barbie coming out, you hear someone talk about the movie Oppenheimer. And it has turned into an online craze known as Barbenheimer, which is basically when you go to the theater and you go see Barbie, and then you go see Oppenheimer first or whichever, but you go in to see both movies. All right, well, let me just tell you how the box office broke down real quick. And these numbers are from Interview Database, and I'll throw up a screenshot, and you can hopefully see the link to read down in the description box. I'll try to put one in if I can. So, let me start with Oppenheimer's numbers, actually. Oppenheimer made $82.5 million. Okay, keep that number in your head. Barbie was number one at the box office, and it made $162 million. So if you do the math, that's almost double what Oppenheimer made. Okay, so people clearly weren't Barbenheimering a whole lot. If I hear one more person talk about the movie Oppenheimer, I don't even know what okay. Let me break this down for you. First of all, I don't have any interest in seeing this movie. This person helped create the atomic bomb and basically was complicit in mass murder. Okay? Barbie hasn't done any of that. I have no interest in seeing a movie that tries to make this guy out to be a hero. Whatever his genius, he clearly used it to commit genocide. So, commit genocide. Very gross. But it is directed by fanboy favorite Christopher Nolan. So, of course, oh my goodness, it's the best, most amazing, most fantastic movie ever made. And this is really where all this noise is coming from, okay? Just got done doing the podcast about Barbie and the complicated gender dynamics going on and that are addressed in the movie, and then my own opinion about gender dynamics. I'm not trying to stereotype, okay? But I have not met one guy around my age who doesn't think Christopher Nolan is the greatest director of all time. To which I have to say, I don't think that he is, and I'm not trying to be mean. I love the movie Memento. I thought that was an incredible original work, very interesting. Guy Pearce, incredible, of course, in the lead role. Shocking, though, you don't hear a whole lot of people, or meet a whole lot of people who've watched it, which is kind of, I don't know, I find that peculiar, because that was his breakthrough film. And then he ended up doing, of course, the Batman trilogy, and that got him a bunch of praise as well. And I would say Prestige. The Prestige is an amazing movie. And then I actually was in the minority. I loved Dark Knight Rises. I thought that was a million times better than The Dark Knight, which to me was a ripoff of the movie Dirty Harry and the villain there and their struggle. I did love the line from Harvey Dent, of course. That was pretty epic, him saying, "You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain." And don't quote me on that. I'm just taking that from memory, and I'm terrible about remembering movie quotes unless I've seen that movie a bajillion times. So, anyway, Inception, I'm sorry. That movie was not great. Guys, oh, it's amazing. It's the greatest movie ever. And of course, it's got Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy, Marion Cotillard. I hope I pronounced her name right. It's a great cast, but the movie was incredible. Oh, and Ken Watanabe, legend. But the movie was a huge letdown. I'm thinking, what is this? Seriously, though. But it cemented his legend, the legend of Christopher Nolan, in the minds of fanboys everywhere. And I'm sorry, I don't see it. I don't see him being one of the greatest directors of all time. I think this is a complete... It's just ridiculous. I don't know. The man hasn't been alive long enough to have done that. Other movies... After Inception, or I think it was, I just completely... I wouldn't say gave up on him as a director. That sounds harsh, but... certainly went into him just kind of being like every other director. I didn't hold him in any higher esteem than anyone else, and because I didn't think it was merited. So in the past few years, I would say there's been a very huge turning of the tide when it comes to workplace conduct, etc., etc. And so when I saw this on Instagram, it totally popped out to me. And it was on Insider Life, and I'm going to put the screenshot up to it, and hopefully, like I said, with the interview database, put the link down in the description box. But the caption on the photo says, Oppenheimer star Cillian Murphy says director Christopher Nolan is, quote, not that sympathetic to toilet breaks, end quote, on set. Huh? What? Okay. Well, does he want his cast to get UTIs? Because that's what's going to happen if he is not sympathetic enough to these toilet breaks. I know people are going to, oh, Christopher Nolan's being targeted, and this is just a one-off. It's a shocking thing to say, so they put it up here. Okay, whatever. Yeah, of course they singled it out in an interview that probably had a gazillion other things said. Probably raving about Christopher Nolan. I don't know. But this is just not a good look. And I'm telling you, if this was any other director, he would be canceled, okay? There'd be an outrage that Cillian Murphy could have had a UTI brought on by Christopher Nolan, that he's seen as very demanding. I mean, you just see it, man. Look how they did Josh Trank. The guy is a good, very good director, and he had the Fantastic Four movie, didn't pan out at the box office, and then all these really bizarre articles started coming out, and they basically just tried to run that guy out of Hollywood. And not for anything such as I'm aware of being unsympathetic to actors having to go to the bathroom. So, again, there's people that they protect and there's people that they don't. And when I say they, I mean mainstream media. I've been a freelance writer at a mainstream place. Well, I consider it mainstream, a Cinema Blend. And there's certainly going to be an element where you do want to chase a headline that's going to draw in clicks, and I'm sure this one will. But I'm sure people in the comments are going to be very defensive of Christopher Nolan. And by people, I mean fanboys. I'm sorry. I've never met a female who is ride or die with him. I've met women and guys who are both diehard Joss Whedon fans before he got canceled. And so that didn't seem to be particularly targeted. So I just wanted to come in and address this. Oppenheimer was in no way, shape, or form a box office threat to Barbie. Barbie was going to squish that with her stiletto heel very easily. Sorry. And Christopher Nolan, I don't know how much longer they're going to continue to fund a big budget movie on biopics. Obviously, I'm not against biopics. I actually love them a lot as a genre. Or are they subgenre? I'm not sure. And that's not my issue. But I don't understand why we needed Barbenheimer. See, Barbie is a movie that I have been waiting for since I was a little kid, to have a live action Barbie movie. And to have the noise of Oppenheimer's release try to get caught up in the huge buzz around Barbie. It's like you see this shark, and then there are these little feeder, the fish that are underneath the shark, and they're chasing their crumbs. That's how I felt Oppenheimer was doing, or at least its supporters. And then, I'm not trying to say that they're parasitical fish. I'm sorry. I'll probably edit that out. But I'm just saying the buzz of Barbie was a huge great white shark of excitement, and Oppenheimer was a very select few. And I'm not saying select few. Obviously, $86 million or $82 million is a huge opening. But it wasn't the buzz of Barbie. And I did not want to hear about Oppenheimer when I'm hearing about Barbie. And I know people are going to say, but we had to do that because we wanted men in the theater and feeling like they were getting representation at the box office. So essentially splitting off the audience. I think that happened with Maid of Honor and Iron Man, where they released it the same weekend. There was like a romantic comedy, and it did really, really well because women went to that and let men go and watch some other movie. And I haven't seen couples actually do that a whole lot when I was at the theater, and I haven't been at the theater in a very, very long time. But I don't think that's a big thing. But it reminds me too of when Sex and the City, the movie, came out, and it was huge at the box office. And people said, oh my goodness, women will go to the movies? Yeah, duh. And but the buzz about Sex and the City was juxtaposed with the release of a male movie as well. Again, not encouraging a gender battle, but basically saying we've got a movie for men, we got a movie for women. Why can't men and women just go to the same movie? And then after that, go and see if they want to go after Barbie, because let's face it, you probably do want to go to Barbie second, because Oppenheimer, I'm sure, is a freaking downer. So you're going to probably want to see Barbie after to lift your spirits a little bit, even though someone in a review that I read said that it's heavy. It's much heavier, and there were people in the audience who had brought their daughters. This review's up on our review database. And what stuck out to me was that they were saying that people were in the audience with their daughters and their children, and they were holding their Barbie dolls, and then they were apparently crestfallen because the movie took a turn. I'm thinking, well, first of all, I think it probably went over the kid's head. If you can go as a little kid to go see Lion King and be okay, that's a very traumatic movie, okay? I don't think Barbie is any heavier of a topic than that. So there's persons upset and stress and concern for the children, probably not needed, not necessary. When I was a kid, my parents would have done the same exact thing. I'm telling you, they would have gotten us. I would have wanted to wear pink and made a big day of it, and I would have brought my favorite Barbie. I would have been so excited. And I don't think, from anything that I've read, that I would have been completely emotionally despondent after watching the Barbie movie. Probably when there was a musical break, I might have been a little shocked. From what I understand, there's a musical break. But anyway, back to Barbenheimer. I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sorry, I am. Barbie equals greatness. The other movie feels like a hanger-on. And I'm just so frustrated. There was such a big success with Barbie. Whether I want to go see the movie or not, whether I like the movie or not, it was a huge way to say, hey, Barbie as a brand is still alive and well and doing great things. And to have anyone detract from that so we could talk about Oppenheimer, which, by the way, why is this movie coming out in the middle of summer? It's not a blockbuster. Put that movie out. We know what it's all about. It's an award spotter. It's to do that. And simply release it closer to the date when we know that those movies are, quote unquote, more remembered by the Academy. So they normally always put those movies out towards winter, November, towards the end of the year, so that they can qualify to have been released within the year, but then be fresh in the Academy's minds when they're doing their nomination process. Oppenheimer is an awards movie. It's not a summer blockbuster movie. I'm disturbed if people think that something like that is a blockbuster. I will say I think Emily Blunt is a fantastic actress, and Florence Pugh, and they're both in it. So, you know, I'm sure it's not a terrible movie, but I did read some people who were saying it was slow. There's nothing more disarming about a movie's quality for me than hearing that it is slow, because I fall asleep very easily, and that's just gonna be bad news bears. So tell me what you think in the comment section. Are you over Barbenheimer? Do you think that it was ridiculous? Heimer? I don't know. Ridiculheimer? Was it ridiculous? Did you go see both movies? Did you participate in quote-unquote Barbenheimer? Did you watch both movies? Do you think that Oppenheimer was overrated in terms of buzz? Or were you sick about hearing both movies intermingled with one another? Is Christopher Nolan overrated as a director? Are you a man listening to this, and bless you, you're going to take into the comment section and say that he is overrated? So I'm very curious to hear any feedback. Thank you so much for listening. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have, let's keep going with it, a Barbiful day. All right? Okay? Bye.